What's up, YouTube? Alright, this is going to be my final prediction. Crawford versus Canelo. Alright? So I'm just going to come straight out to say it. I got Crawford knocking out or TKO and Canelo. It's either they're going to stop it, his corner's going to stop it, or the ref is going to stop it. Or he might just floor him and get him to quit. Because I think this is my prediction. All right, Crawford's going to work his body. Crawford's going to knock him out by wearing his body out. He's going to wear him out to the body. All right, that's my prediction. Now I'll break it down some, so that way you guys understand that Crawford does things better than Canelo, and I'm talking to the untrained eye. All right, the untrained eye doesn't see what the trained eye is going to see, meaning people that actually box and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So to the trained eye, that's why like Roy Jones is picking. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to understand why. I'm not saying that I'm right, because I could be wrong, because Canelo does have the equalizer. All right, I'm not taking that out of the equation, but I'm picking Bud because of the things that he does that's better than Canelo. All right, so I always say, if you follow my channel, you know, better puncher, better footwork. All right, those are the two keys that factor over all the thing. Of course, everything is important. You know what I mean? Endurance. That's another thing. That's another key that I don't really talk about, that I should be mentioning, actually. So, who always has the better endurance? Crawford does. He has the better conditioning. He has the better footwork. He has the better punch. He's a better puncher than Canelo. You know what I mean? And I gave a scale on my other video. I don't know if people seen it, but like a 1 through 10, saying Crawford's a 10 out of 10 and Canelo's an 8 out of 8, meaning how well they punch. And footwork, I gave Canelo a 7 out of 10 and Crawford a 10 out of 10. Endurance and conditioning, I give, let's say Crawford is a 10 out of 10. I know he's older, he's 38, but he still looks good, even though he's old. And I give Canelo, like, comparing to Crawford, I'll give him like a 6.5, 6.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7 out of 10. I don't know, something like that. But he's in that range. I know y'all gonna call me crazy too. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can think what you want to think. And these other channels that are saying crazy shit, that, you know, it's not crazy. Like I said, it's not crazy to think Crawford has no chance. You know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way. Crawford is supposed to lose. You know what I mean? Canelo's a 168 pounder, Crawford's 154 pounder, you can argue 147 pounder. It's not crazy to think that Crawford has no chance. It's not crazy. You know what I mean? I'm the crazy one for thinking that Crawford is gonna knock out Canelo. I'm crazy for thinking that. But that's just what I think. Based on what he does it better. I know he's older, but Canelo, you'll see September 13th. You know, people that follow, I know you guys follow the big channels, and if you stumble across my channel, you know what I mean? This is people that are saying Madrimov gave him you know what I'm saying, that it was a close fight against Madrimov. This is the people that's saying that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be so wrong. You know? These are the same people that thought Puello beat Matias. Same people. Same people saying it was a close fight. Madrimov was a close fight with Crawford. Same people that saying Puello and Matias, that Puello won. Same people that say a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Same people that are saying Canelo is a better fighter, better boxer. He's going to outbox Crawford. These are the same people. It's crazy, man. You know? Same people. This is who I'm referring this shit to. Same people that say that. This is what everybody listens to. And then they stumble across little channels like mine. You'll see. September 13th. And I honestly really don't give a fuck who wins. But I'm just saying, you can't count Crawford out. It's really not crazy to pick Crawford. It really isn't. Like, to the trained eye, that is. It's not crazy. But I understand why people think it's crazy. Because of the weight class difference. So, on paper, it's crazy. It's, you know, it should be a mismatch. But, like I said, if you assess their skill set and match it up, it's not that crazy. Because Canelo is really not as good as people make him out to be. He's very good, but he's not that good. Not what they're painting him out to be, is what I'm trying to say. You will see. You know, you guys are going to see. You're going to find out. You will find out. Everybody's making it. The reason why I'm making this video is because they're making it sound outlandish. You know what I mean? They're hating on the matchup. They're saying it's a mismatch. This is why I'm saying this. They're saying that it's a mismatch. It shouldn't be happening. It should be Canelo Benavidez. But there's a reason why Canelo's not going after these guys. You know what I mean? He's ducked Benavidez for many years now. He ducked Charlo when they were at 154. You know what I mean? He didn't want to fight Gennady Golovkin right away. You know what I mean? And Gennady Golovkin honestly isn't really all that good either. I mean, he's decent, but he's not no Floyd Mayweather. He ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard. He ain't no Muhammad Ali. He ain't that. He just ain't that, and neither is Canelo. Canelo ain't that either. He ain't Sugar Ray. He ain't Muhammad Ali. He ain't Floyd Mayweather. He ain't on those guys' level. He's not on that level. So quit making him like he is all I'm saying. Canelo is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. You know what I'm saying? He just ain't that. He ain't on that level. He ain't no Roy Jones Jr. He ain't that. He ain't Ray Robinson. He's not none of those guys. He ain't that good. He's not on that level, bro. Neither is Gennady, and look what happened when Canelo fought him. Huh? You want to talk about resumes? You know what I'm saying? They keep talking about resumes. Yeah, okay. He ain't fight the names on his resume. But like I say, to the untrained eye, they make him out they make Crawford like this bum, like they're talking about a bum. You know what I'm saying? I'm catching that. They're diminishing that. I don't know why they're doing it though. You know what I'm saying? If you see the reason why the way Crawford wins the way he does is because of his skills. It's not because Spence was out the door. It's not because Sean Porter has 1 foot out and 1 foot in. It ain't because Kell Brook was washed. It ain't none of that, because Kell Brook was in the best shape of his life. He said it himself. He's felt the best he's ever felt. And the same thing with Sean Porter. I've trained, but they say these things to take away from Crawford's win, and then people listen to this shit, and then they jump on that bandwagon, but they're not addressing the skill set. It's the skills that make these guys look the way they look. I mean, you can argue Spence wasn't 100%, because I honestly didn't really think he was 100% either, but even 100%, you can't really say that, because if you watch and you do film studies on Errol Spence, and you do a film study on Sean Porter and Kell Brook, honestly, they came out looking like they were in the best shape. Sean Porter looked the best. That was probably the best Sean Porter out of all the other Sean Porters. You know what I mean? But it's because of Crawford's skill set make them look that way. But if you really pay attention, that was the same. You can argue that was the same Sean Porter that fought Keith Thurman. That was the same Sean Porter that fought Danny Garcia. That was the same Kell Brook that fought everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you do the film study, that was the best Kell Brook. He looked very sharp when he was fighting. He looked very fast. He was the best in his speed. That was the best Kell Brook, and he said it himself. I'm in the best shape. I feel the best. You know what I'm saying? You can't dismiss that. But everybody, like these channels, dismiss that. They dismiss everything, bro. But you guys got to take that shit into account. I saw that. The film is there for you to see. You can go on YouTube and look up these fights yourself. And then you can assess and go back and start looking at all these fights and see how they look. Their speed looked the same, or even better. Kell Brook looked faster. He looked sharper. You know what I'm saying? His speed was better than it was when he fought Errol Spence. It was better. It was better when he fought, like, you know what I'm saying? Sean Porter, when Kell Brook fought Sean Porter. That was a better Kell Brook. He was faster. He was sharper. You know what I'm saying? He was there ready to beat up Crawford. But Crawford, since Crawford is really good and he's a better skilled, you know what I'm saying? Crawford whooped his ass. You know what I mean? It was a good fight. Yeah. But it's not what these guys are making it out to be. They dismiss. It's like they do it on purpose, bro. That's why I'm starting to not really respect these guys, because the way they speak, they put Canelo up here and then they speak Crawford down here. They put Crawford down, but then again in the same sentence they'll be like, Crawford is a great fighter. He's a pound for pound fighter. You know what I'm saying? At 147. And then in the same sequence of paragraph, or the same sequence of the video, they'll say Crawford's resume is trash. He didn't fight the best Sean Porter. He didn't fight the best Kell Brook. He didn't fight the best Spence. Spence wasn't 100%. Sean Porter wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit that they keep spewing out their mouth. All to get the viewers, you guys, to change your energy. You know what I'm saying? You guys gotta really get educated in boxing. You guys gotta educate yourselves in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Be unbiased. they claim to be unbiased, but then they start saying this shit. Are they really unbiased? They say they're unbiased, but are they really unbiased? You know what I mean? They push Canelo. If you hear the way they talk about Canelo, yeah, they might rag on him sometimes, but they put Canelo up here. Canelo is a better boxer. Canelo, but why is he a better boxer? He's not a better puncher. If he's a better boxer, you know what I'm saying? They're not talking about the level of opponent. They're like, oh, his resume is better than Crawford's. But I mean, what opponent is really better than the opponents that Crawford fought skillfully? Can you address the skills? No, you can't. You can't address their skills because you have no idea what the fuck you're looking at. And that's what I'm talking about, the trained eye. Alright? I'm tired of hearing this shit. This is why I make videos. I didn't really care at first to make videos, but you know, this is why I make videos. This is why I made my channel, so I can address these fools. You know? I don't hate on them, but they're wrong. So I gotta say it. You know what I mean? They're wrong. Anyway, now that I'm on this rant, like I said before, I will not be surprised if Crawford knocks out or stops Canelo. It could be knockout, TKO, where somebody's gonna throw in the towel and realize he's had enough. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like that. Maybe he won't knock him out cold, but I bet you there's going to be some knockdowns. There's going to be some knockdowns. And it could be on both sides. It could be, you know. I ain't gonna not say that ain't going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be on both sides. Because Crawford's just a sharper puncher. He's a better puncher. I keep saying this shit. Better footwork, better puncher. You know what I mean? And to those, if you come across my channel and you have no idea what I talk about, the sharper punchers, because he has a better snap to his punches. He pops his punches better. And he throws them quicker. You know what I mean? He does it from here. Canelo loads on his shot. He puts more energy into his punches, but that doesn't make him the better puncher. That just makes him a harder puncher because he puts more energy. You know what I mean? In boxing, when you go to boxing and they teach you how to punch, you're supposed to punch with leverage. Crawford does that better. You're throwing it from here and you turn your fist. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to turn your fist at the end of your punches. That's what causes the snap. And then you pop it from your shoulder. You pop your punches. You know? Pop. So when you snap your wrist and you pop your punches, you're doing it in a way where you're not telegraphing. And it's also a harder punch than when you're loading up your shot because you're telegraphing. You know what I mean? The opponent's going to be ready for that punch. Like they say, it's always the punch that you don't see is what knocks you down or knocks you out. And Crawford is a better puncher than Canelo is. And that's why I think he's going to win. Because he's got the better footwork, which is going to allow him to be in the better positioning. So if he's in a better position and he's a better puncher, that just, you know what I'm saying? You guys are going to be so puzzled and they're going to blame it on the snack. I already know. They're going to blame it on the snack. Oh, Canelo didn't really train. Canelo didn't want the fight. Canelo didn't take him serious. It's going to be some kind of fucking excuse. I already see it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I won't be surprised if Terence Crawford stops Canelo. That's my prediction. Crawford's going to win. And if it goes to the scorecard, Crawford may lose. You know what I mean? Because we already know, we already know what Canelo's team or whoever, his team or his promotion or the people with money, they got, you know what I mean, the cartel, whoever the fuck they are, they got the judges in their pocket. The judges. They got the judges in their pocket. So if it goes, but I'm saying Crawford's gonna beat him no matter what. In the scores, and I'm saying this realistically, for real, not on the scorecards, not on the judges. It's gonna be clear that Canelo or Crawford's gonna beat Canelo. You know what I mean? It's gonna be convincingly to the eye. But the judges is still gonna score it for Canelo. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So I feel like I think Crawford has to stop. He has to stop Canelo. And that's why I got, and I'm not saying that's why I got him. I'm just saying, I really think, I won't be surprised if Crawford stops him. And I'm just gonna put my money on that. I am betting. I'm betting on the KO or TKO. I got Crawford TKO, and this is my final prediction. All right, I think Crawford wins, and there ain't nothing Canelo's gonna be able to do unless he hurts. All right, unless he hurts Crawford. If Canelo hurts Crawford multiple times, if he keeps hurting Crawford, it's the only way Canelo's gonna win. All right, but I don't think he stops Crawford. He's not gonna stop him. He's not gonna knock him out. And it ain't because I got Canelo. Like these guys, man, they're just full of shit, bro. I think they're really betting on Crawford, but they're trying to make more money. So they're trying to get people to bet on Canelo. You get what I'm saying? They're trying to switch the energy for Canelo. That's what they're doing. They're switching the energy for Canelo, which is to your viewers, people that are watching, because he's got like 350,000 subscribers. The other one's got like 100,000. They got 200,000, and there's another one with 350,000. You know what I mean? They got a lot of subscribers. So they're changing the energy to the viewer to go for Canelo. And then when y'all lose your money, if you're betting, that is, if you lose your money, you're listening to them. So this is why you can't listen. Educate yourself about the sport, all right? Educate yourself. Really watch the fighters and see how good they are and what they do good, what they don't do good. Don't just be like, oh, he's a name. You know, he's a name, so he must be better. That's not the way it works in boxing. That's why people make a name for themselves. They make a name for themselves because everybody's a nobody until they beat somebody. You get what I mean? So I'll say that. I'm going to start saying that. Everybody's a nobody until they beat somebody. And then people are confused. Like, that guy's a bum. Who has he fought? Who has he fought? And that's what it is over and over with Crawford. With all these big channels, who has he fought? Who has he fought? He's fought very good fighters. He's fought people with Olympic pedigrees. You know what I mean? They got Olympic pedigrees, deep amateur pedigrees. You know what I'm saying? They're good fighters. So Canelo has fought one guy with a deep amateur pedigree, which was Golovkin. I'm not sure who really has he fought with a deep, like a really deep amateur pedigree. And the people who he has fought with deep amateur pedigree has gave him trouble and has beat him. And that's why they say who has arguably beat Canelo. Nobody talks about that. You know? That's what I'm saying. Canelo ain't what they're trying to make him out to be. He's not that guy, bro. He's not no Muhammad Ali. He ain't Ray Robinson. He ain't Sugar Ray. He ain't fucking Roberto Duran. He's not what's the other Mexican, man? Julio Cesar Chavez. You know what I'm saying? He ain't that. He ain't those guys, bro. Quit making him out like he is. He ain't no Floyd. He ain't none of that, bro. He ain't that guy. It's great what he's doing. Yeah, he's a little guy who's moved up. Yes, you can give him that. But he's not. That's where you need to assess. Who has he fought? Who has Canelo fought? And how has he looked against those people that he's fought? Because Crawford, realistically, has dominated those guys. All right? Cut the bullshit. Crawford has dominated those guys. It ain't, Sean Porter was winning that fight until he knocked him out. No, he wasn't. He was not winning that fight. And neither was Kell Brook, because it was 2 apiece. Kell Brook won the 2 first rounds. Crawford won the 3rd round, and in the 4th round, he knocked his ass out. And you know what I mean? And really, Sean Porter, you can give him the first 3 rounds. But after that, it was all Crawford. Madrimov, 2 rounds I gave him. The rest was all Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But they're spinning these narratives. Quit listening to these guys. These are the same fucking people that are saying that shit. These big channels. You're listening to them, and then they're like, it's a mismatch. It ain't that, bro. JDO Boxing, my prediction, I got Crawford, TKO, KO. I got him by stoppage, all right? That's where I'm putting my money. Don't listen to me, all right? Don't put your money on Crawford. You can go ahead and put your money on Canelo. I don't give a fuck. JDO Boxing, I'm out. That's my prediction. Peace.